What if I told you one of the most entertaining turbocharged cars of the 90s? Wasn't a sports car? Nope, it's this tiny van. Meet the 1994 Daihatsu Atrai Liberno Turbo, a JDM oddball that packs more personality per inch than some full-size SUV. With its laughably small footprint, retro box design, and a turbocharged 3-cylinder engine, this thing is pure 90s energy on wheels. But is it actually fun to drive, or just a quirky collectible? Stick around, because once you hear that turbo spool, you might just want one in your garage. The 1990s were a golden era for quirky Japanese engineering, and the 1994 Daihatsu Atrai Liberno Turbo is a perfect example. Originally designed as part of Japan's Kai car segment, vehicles limited in size and engine displacement, it captured urban drivers and business owners with its microvan practicality, quirky looks, and surprisingly punchy performance. The Atrai Liberno Turbo is the turbocharged version of Daihatsu's Atrai line. Think of it as the minivan that decided to get a little wild. Powered by a 659cc 3-cylinder turbo engine, it delivers just enough power to make this tiny van feel far more spirited than you'd expect. And because it's a Kai car, its dimensions are almost comically small by American standards, yet it seats up to 4 with room for gear. So why does this matter today? Because the Atrai Liberno Turbo is now eligible for legal import under the 25-year rule, and it's attracting collectors, van lifers, and curious car enthusiasts across the US at a time when giant SUVs dominate the market. A turbocharged Japanese minivan from the 90s feels like a welcome rebellion. But is this just a nostalgic novelty, or is there real value here? Let's take a closer look. The Atrai Liberno Turbo is not your typical JDM import. This is Daihatsu's bold answer to the challenge of making a minivan fun. Daihatsu, Japan's oldest car maker still in operation, has always specialized in compact cars and Kai-class vehicles. But with the Atrai Liberno Turbo, they took things up a notch. Designed to meet Japan's strict Kai car regulations, it's small enough to park in Tokyo alleys, yet powerful enough to make you grin on a back road. This rare turbocharged version doesn't just offer space efficiency, it injects personality into practice. It blends boxy 90s charm with a tiny boosted engine that turns heads and raises eyebrows. And now, thanks to the 25-year import rule, it's finally trickling into the US, quickly becoming a cult favorite among enthusiasts looking for something different, something incredibly fun. But is this pint-sized turbovan more than just a quirky blast from the past? In just a moment, we'll dive into the design, powertrain, and real-world driving experience to see if it lives up to the hype. So let's get into it. The Atrai Liberno Turbo may be small, but it's loaded with surprises. On the outside, it's as 90s Japanese as cars come. Tall, boxy, and unapologetically practical. A big windshield gives you aquarium-like visibility, perfect for navigating tight streets or threading through traffic. The two-tone paint, sliding rear doors, and retro graphics give off a charm that's impossible not to smile at. Pop open the door, and the interior makes its case. Sure, it's mostly gray plastic, but it's the thoughtful layout that counts. The seating sits higher than you'd expect from something this tiny, giving you a pseudo-SUV feel. Thanks to its cabover engine design, the cabin feels airy for such a compact vehicle. There's even a surprising amount of headroom, enough to make 6-footers feel comfortable. Now let's talk performance, because this little box has more going on under the hood than you'd expect. It's powered by a 659cc turbocharged 3-cylinder engine, making around 63 horsepower the Kai-class limit at the time. And while that number may not sound like much today, in a vehicle that weighs just over 1,800 pounds, it's enough to make low-speed driving fun. With a quick-spool turbo, you get boost early and often. It's like the car wants to play. On city roads, it's surprisingly nimble. The turning radius is tight, and the engine's torque is just right for darting between lights. But what about longer drives? Well, at highway speeds, you'll definitely know it's a Kai car. The engine buzzes and crosswinds become noticeable. But here's the thing, you don't buy this to cruise at 80 miles per hour. You buy it because it makes 30 miles per hour feel like an adventure. And it's not just fun, it's practical. The cargo space is plenty for groceries, camp gear, or your camera equipment. Fold the rear seats, and you've got room for a small mattress. Yes, this thing can double as a tiny camper. Then there's fuel efficiency. The Atrai Liberno Turbo easily gets over 40 mpg. That's hybrid territory for a vehicle from 1994 without a single battery. Just pure mechanical efficiency. Of course, it's not perfect. There's no modern safety tech, and if you're over 6 feet tall, things can get tight. Parts may take time to track down, and insurance can be weird on imports. But let's be real, people buying this car aren't looking for a Camry. They're looking for something unique. And here's the kicker. While prices for JDM icons are skyrocketing, this Atrai Turbo still flies under the radar, for now. But will it stay that way once collectors catch on? Stick around. In just a moment, we'll talk about the real-world limitations, and whether this microvan is worth your garage space, or just a fun fling. Here's where the Atrai Liberno Turbo really shows its hand. We took it out on a mix of suburban streets, tight city corners, and yes, even a quick stretch of highway. And while we expected quirky, we didn't expect this much fun. The moment the turbo kicks in, it's like the car wakes up and shouts, "Let's go." The engine sound isn't loud, but the turbo whistle and pep are addictive. You're zipping through traffic, smiling like a kid in a It's not about speed, it's about sensation. That lightweight frame and turbocharged heart make this van feel alive at 25 miles per hour, something modern cars often forget. But then, we hit the highway. This is where Kai cars usually fall apart, and sure enough, the Atrai reminds you of its tiny proportions. Wind gusts push it around, and you're not passing anyone in a hurry. It's not scary, just honest. The Atrai isn't pretending to be more than it is. Then came the real surprise. We tested it with a full-load driver, passenger, and camping gear. And even then, it pulled with enthusiasm. No bogging, no struggle, just turbo whoosh and a let's-get-it-done attitude. That's when it hit us. This thing isn't just quirky, it's genuinely capable. It's a reminder of what cars used to be. Simple, character-filled, and downright enjoyable without needing touchscreens or 500 horsepower. But is that charm enough to outweigh the limitations? Is it worth the import hassle? Does the fun factor justify the compromises? That's what we'll answer next. After spending time behind the wheel of the 1994 Daihatsu Atrai Liberno Turbo, it's clear this tiny van is more than just a nostalgic JDM oddity. It's a unique driving experience that blends charm, practicality, and surprise performance. Its turbocharged 3-cylinder engine delivers a playful punch in city streets. The compact dimensions make maneuvering effortless, and the surprisingly versatile interior proves that small doesn't mean limiting. On the flip side, it's not a perfect package. Highway driving exposes its lightweight frame to crosswinds. Parts are harder to source in the US, and it lacks modern safety technology. But for enthusiasts who crave personality, quirk, and a slice of automotive history, these drawbacks are part of the charm. So who is this van for? If you're a collector of rare JDM imports, a fan of retro microcars, or someone looking for a fun, economical city runabout, the Atrai Liberno Turbo is a hidden gem worth considering. But if you need long distance, comfort, high-speed stability, or modern luxury features, you may want to admire it from afar. In today's US market dominated by SUVs and crossovers, vehicles like the Atrai stand out as reminders that cars don't have to be massive or complex to be memorable. They spark conversations, challenge expectations, and influence enthusiasts to think outside the box, literally. As more Kai cars reach legal import age, we might just see a new wave of small, character-driven vehicles gaining cult status here in the States. ***. So, what do you think? Would you take a turbocharged microvan like this for a spin, or keep it as a collectible curiosity? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to hear your experiences with rare imports. And if you enjoyed this review, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and ring the bell for more quirky, fun, and unexpected car adventures.